for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off the road here on a Monday. I am Brandon Beam hanging out tonight with Austin Ward and, of course, Nate Dogg behind the glass. Hey, Ward Sports, happy Monday to you, my friend. What's happening?
Great to be here. What a holiday weekend. My goodness.
Man, just taking it in. Happy birthday, America.
Cheers to you, America. And cheers to the Ridge Golf and Gardens.
Yeah, it was a great time on Saturday. We had 36 holes. I'm still recovering. I was just so dehydrated.
That's why it's a marathon, man. You know it. You've been through 6 of them.
I know. Every time. Every time I come out the other end, I'm like, that might be my last.
No, you're good to go.
It was good.
Although that was maybe the worst closing 9 that you could have ever cooked up.
It was bad. I was cooking, dude. I was hot. I think, fluid in my body was gone. Sore yesterday and today.
Yeah.
But it was a great time. It was a fantastic event that they put on out there every single year for us. So I had a great time. We'll get into that a little bit later about our golf escapades. Had a big day today at home. Austin, Meredith, and William got home for the first time in 5 weeks.
And I hear it's a wedding anniversary.
It is a wedding anniversary.
The timing is wonderful.
Yeah, big 7-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
For us today. So it was cool. They got home around 2:30. Had the place spotless today. I'm cleaning the bathrooms, you know?
Oh, you went into the bathroom?
Oh, yeah. And wow. I'm not just straightening up, cleaning.
Okay.
You know, doing a deep clean. And then they got home around 2:30-ish this afternoon. By the time I left at 4:30, it was just a war zone. Toys have been all over the place. Theo was having PTSD from Buzz Lightyear being slammed onto the table at a decibel level that was about 1 million, I'm sure, to him.
Yeah.
It was great to have him back, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, Willie had missed all those toys. You can't take them all with you on vacation.
No,
you got to get them all out, make sure they're okay.
Yeah, and he was playing with every single one. So I was super excited to have them back here today and then for the rest of the summer as well. We got a great show lined up for you here this morning. We got a load of All-Americans to go over tonight. I told you, dude, I'm still struggling. All right? I'm still struggling. It's a Monday. Great show for you this evening.
Yeah, there it is.
Thanks, buddy. Got some All-Americans to go over for you. We'll do that in our next segment around 6:17. Austin's question of the day. We'll get into the Buckeye running backs room coming up here around the bottom of the hour. Felix Ojo, who was an Ohio State recruit,
target,
proverbially got the bag this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that, get into the college football pulse as well. Phil Steele's Big Ten prediction for the Buckeyes, your camp storylines, all kinds of good stuff for you here tonight. But we'll start off with a little bit more recruiting because over the weekend, Austin, July 4th, actually, on America's birthday, Glenville defensive tackle Jameer Perez flipped from Florida to Ohio State. Now, I'm pretty sure when we had Berm on a couple of weeks ago, he said, watch out for this one, indicating that something might happen, and he did. 6'4", 350 pounds. He decommitted from Florida, and then wouldn't you know that, they got a boom on a big boom day in America's birthday. So another commit into this class.
Yeah, fireworks figuratively and literally for Ohio State there. You also had their class of 2026 quarterback, Luke Fahey, commit on Thursday. But Jameer Perez, as you mentioned, Berm had talked about him throughout the month of June. Popped in I think he had visited for the spring game. He had been around for the camp season, talking with Larry Johnson, talking with Ryan Day, talking with Matt Patricia. And you look at the highlights on film, the productivity he's still going to have to grow is not the right word. He's going to have to remold that body a little bit. And he's already done that. He was at 340 pounds, I think, in the middle of last year. And Berm said, we were working on, the snap judgments, and there's a great interview with Perez and Berm that was on Friday on 10 TV, 97.1, the Fans YouTube channel, and anywhere you can get podcasts. We had some snap judgments where Jameer Perez was on there, and he talked about all the changes that he had to make to earn that, and maybe what he jumped the gun a little bit and got distracted by the glitz and glamour down there with the Gators.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It's okay.
I get it. But he had time to make a correction there, and he did. Glenville Pipeline is really up and running again for Ohio State. So you look at this, and anyway, Berm said the nearest comparison that he could come up with was Jonathan Hankins. And then that was all I could suddenly see on the highlight real. It was
Big Hank, that's a good player comp. It's a good comparison to be if you're an Ohio State defensive tackle.
Because you look at some of these recruiting rankings and they're a little bit all over the map. Where is he with the defensive tackles nationally? Where is he amongst players in Ohio? There's not a unanimous agreement on what kind of player he's going to be. But if you see some of the way he moves, and if he's a 3-star, 4-star, it doesn't really matter. Once you get in the fold, there aren't a lot of people that are 6'4", 340 walking around the face of the earth, and they're not making some of the plays that he's making as a junior in high school. So if he can continue with this work ethic that's already yielding some results for him, he's got one more year to go there at Glenville, and he's been around a different level of competition. It wasn't where he started his high school career. There's big-time potential there. And you don't go wrong by taking someone from Glenville, a player who's grown up watching Ohio State, and just has that much raw potential to work with. It's not easy. Doesn't mean that he's going to show up and he's going to live up to the same caliber of production that Jonathan Hankins provided, which, he was there, Beam, in 2012 on that first team that I started covering. I'm like, this guy.
He's a stalwart, man.
This guy is special. When people would be, comparing at that time Ohio State and the SEC rosters, and I'd have to go through, and it's like, well, Jonathan Hankins can play anywhere he wants to.
Yes, he can.
I can tell you that for sure. And he wasn't the only one. Ryan Shazier out there, and Braxton Miller and Devin Smith. We can go down the list. Obviously, this is not meant to go praise the 2012 team, but Hankins, big time Hank, has a special place for me as one of those first players that was like, this guy, this is an Ohio State player. He gets it. And he can make it to the next level and have a really long career. He's still earning paychecks. Yeah,
he is, and he's doing a nice job, yeah. Anytime you're compared to him as an Ohio State player, I feel like you would take that. And we've talked about more so in the recent weeks, Austin, about the development of the offensive line position, how this takes time. It's the same thing with the interior defensive line, maybe not to the extent of the offensive line, because you do have some of these freaks that you'll see who come in here as a freshman and get some reps, and some underclassmen, and just the way that Ohio State's defensive line room has operated for so long, maybe more playtime availability throughout the entirety of the regular season, but it's still a position in which you need to grow. And sometimes I know that it's not at the pace that some people want to see, but it takes a little bit of time to get used to the physicality and the speed and just the way you're operating your hands at the collegiate level of a program to the caliber of Ohio State.
But just look at last year's team, and those, you're talking about stalwarts. Ohio State's not winning the national championship without Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton doing what they were.
So good.
They were so good. And did they show up on day one on campus and immediately dominate? Of course not. Ty Hamilton got there a little bit faster than Devon Hamilton did. He understood how much work his brother put in, and I think he was underappreciated and undervalued even 2 years ago, Ty Hamilton, going back for the level he was playing at. But it's that combination of those two guys. And Tyleik Williams, he would show flashes. I remember back, freshman year, sophomore year, he would make a couple plays, he'd get a sack. They'd be 2 years in, and all of the productivity and all the statistics were coming in games against Rutgers or non-conference games. And those are reasons to get excited. But Tyleik Williams would have been the first one to tell you, well, it's not showing up against elite competition. He's not doing the things that he needed to do to be ready to play day in, day out, play in, play out at a college football playoff championship level. And once he turned that corner, it's not like for lack of effort, lack of trying. You just have to grow into your body. You have to understand, as you said, Beamer, the speed of the play, where do the hands have to go, hand placement, the difference, all those other things that are so critical.
And just playing a full season, too.
And the closer you are to the football, the harder it is. That is a man's game. And to show up and try and do that at 18, there's not going to be that many people that can do that. Now, Jameer Perez isn't going to be asked to do that either. But when you're talking about just looking at this team now, we've spent so much time breaking down the defensive tackle depth and the rotation and what that's going to look like for Ohio State. Even Edric Houston and Caden McDonald have needed some time and aren't finished products at this point as they get ready for training camp starting at the end of July. But, there's 2 years under the belt of McDonald, and Edric Houston has really remodeled his physique.
Big time potential.
290 now and 21 miles an hour still running in a straight line. It's crazy what he could become. But
that's wild.
But that is the nature of the position. We always want that next thing, and you want to be able to microwave the results. You just can't do that at defensive tackle. And that's not to say, Jameer Perez, just tap the brakes. You should celebrate when you get a player from Glenville, when you get an in-state recruit, when you get somebody at that size and with that strength coming out of high school. That's a big deal for Ohio State, and they should celebrate that part, and they will. But it's also, at the same time, a little bit longer-term view on what he can do for the Buckeyes.
Big-time congratulations to him and his commitment to Ohio State. Excited to get him here on campus. We got a load of All-Americans to go over for the Buckeyes. That's coming at you next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value, and they have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit oda.org.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,500 off BX23S tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Scattered showers and a few storms on this Monday. Otherwise partly sunny, warm and humid. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Overnight, we'll keep it mostly cloudy, down to around 70 by Tuesday morning. Much of your Tuesday will be dry, but just can't rule out a passing shower or storm. Otherwise partly sunny, less humid, and highs in the mid 80s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
July 10th, the new EA Sports college football game comes out. If you paid $99.99 though today for the deluxe edition, you were able to download it.
I know Berm did.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people did. We got a few of my buddies in a group chat who were just firing off videos left and right.
We were trying to have a meeting with Fish and Tyler, getting ready. What's the Big Ten Media Day coverage plan?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you doing over there, Berm? Just downloading the new college sports video game.
Don't worry about it.
Can you focus over here?
No.
We're going to be in Vegas in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it takes 15 minutes to download a game. It's fine. By the time that this meeting is over, I'll be ready to rock. I'll be ready to play.
He might have been playing the whole time.
I think he was. Yeah. He was definitely playing. I have seen social media highlights, though, of these first looks at the game, and now it's being released to the public, of Jeremiah Smith literally being able to catch everything on the planet in this video game.
Well, that's what real life is. Have you ever seen him? Since that dropped screen, the first ball.
That sounds like an accurate video game.
Yeah, it's like if it's in the game, it's in the game.
God, let's just go back to that play for a second, because if he catches that, he scores a touchdown on the opening play of the season, and then
he knew it too.
Is that the only drop pass he had last year?
I think he was credited with one more.
Okay, I don't remember that one like I remember that, like the.
Because
the season,
because 100,000 people and everyone in the press box like, oh my God, look at this. No one is ever going to catch him. And he's like, this is what you've been waiting for. And if you start the year and the first catch of his career is 175 touchdown, it's like, okay, here comes the hype machine. Now it's truly out of control. The best thing that may have ever happened was Jeremiah dropping that screen ball.
The hype train was still out of control.
Still out of control.
And rightfully so. But yeah, I have seen a bunch of highlights on social media of just him being on another planet in that video game. I might buy it just to see what he can do.
Did EA Sports figure out what solar system he's from?
No.
Oh, shoot.
Maybe it just says Tadpole Galaxy next to his bio.
Tadpole Galaxy.
Gonna have to buy it and find out on July 10th. Phil Steele's all preseason Big Ten teams for 2025 and all-American teams for this coming year. If it's any surprise to you, Austin, that Jeremiah Smith leads the first team All-Big Ten.
Oh, really?
On Phil Steele's magazine. I love talking to Phil Steele. He's awesome. I mean, it takes him forever to put that bad boy together. And I can't imagine doing it now than doing it in years past and having to follow the transfer portal and the movement and what that's like for him. But just in case you were wondering, his first team All-Big Ten players. Wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. Safety Caleb Downs. No big surprises.
Two bold choices there.
Yeah. Way to go, Phil. Really bold.
Out on a limb.
And then linebacker Sonny Styles and tight end transfer from Purdue Max Clare are the guys who he has on the first team all-conference list.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough because we all know the next guys in line. And I'm not saying that Phil Steele doesn't either. But it's when you're putting together these preseason All-American lists, preseason All-Big Ten lists, some of these Buckeyes who someone like Brandon Ennis.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's going to match Emeka's production.
Carnell Tate.
Carnell Tate. I think most people, didn't he have Carnell maybe on the second team?
He did.
But I think Brandon Ennis is the example. Like, there's going to be a period in, like, we get to October and people are like, look at this slot weapon that Ohio State had. Where were they keeping this guy?
Where did he come from?
Oh, by the way, he was once the number one recruit at wide receiver in the country 2 years ago, and they were just stashing him away on the bench. But he's going to win a lot of accolades and maybe a Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week and be in the mix to be a second-team All-Big Ten performer.
Only be because great safety valve for whoever he's got at quarterback this year.
100%. The same thing is true when you look at defense. And we talk about Arvell Reese and how phenomenal he's looked through summer conditioning and the opportunity that's going to be ahead of him on the Ohio State defense. And it's like nationally, it's hard to make that leap and that bet because there's other teams in the country with really good players and They've had more experience than some of these Ohio State guys, and that's fine. The unfortunate part is that a lot of the award voting is reliant on name recognition, and you have to carry that into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sometimes hard to erase that deficit with other players across the country. That doesn't mean that everyone should just be listening to the Buckeye Show to get their insight on.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, actually.
It would help them. Like, they would look a lot smarter if they put Arvell Reese on their All-Big Ten team right now, or if they had Jermaine Matthews on their All-American team.
Mm-hmm.
They would look super smart
Ball
if they
knowers.
did that. Yeah, then they'd be like, you know what? You don't have to tell you where I found it out, but we would know that they got it on the
Saw
Buckeye
this coming
Show.
from a mile away. Arvell Reese.
100%.
Let's that hype train's leaving the station.
James Peoples, same deal.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Sareveld. Carson Hinsman is a guy, though, Beamer, that I think he should fit in that category of someone with enough starts. A full year starting at center 2 years ago, and then the entire playoff run.
And he was awesome in the playoffs.
Stepping in there, the way that he did for Seth McLaughlin. Like, Ohio State, it's another guy that I mentioned, Tyleek and Ty. They're definitely not winning the national championship without Carson Hinsman stabilizing the center of that offensive line. I think he's going to win the Remington Trophy Award this year because
back to back.
I think they'll win
Buckeyes?
it. We've seen it before.
Yeah,
this is a Remington Trophy factory that they've got over at the Woody. But I would have thought that he would get even more acclaim. I actually thought that there was an outside shot that he would get to go represent Ohio State at Big Ten Media Days in 2 weeks because the story is phenomenal. He is a returning Iron Buckeye, and he's got a year and a half, basically 2 years of starting experience for Ohio State. That's unheard of. He has solidified that apex position that Urban Meyer used to call it at center in a way that hasn't really existed in a while because you had the turnover and Luke Whippler disturbing some of that with going pro early, and we know that the dominoes that tipped over, that led to Carson Hinsman being in the spot maybe before he was ready. But he's an awesome personality, and I think maybe I'm more mad at the Big Ten. Like, why are you limiting it to just 3? If you have
let's get 5 of these guys.
If you have
out
good
here.
players in your conference, like, what's it hurting anything to take 4 or 5 players? We have to buy 2 extra box lunches. You're not getting enough water for the media at these events anyway, so who cares about that?
You're fine, Tony Petitti. You can afford it.
Yeah, Tony Petitti.
Your guy. Did anybody rattle you with that on the golf course this past weekend?
No.
I think saying his name out loud.
They saved me. I mean, Kelleher was the one who was like, you have to bring up Tony Petitti around Austin, and I never played against him. I only played with him. So
he knew that
he didn't want
to
do that
mention
to me.
it.
Yeah.
He don't
But
want to rattle his partner.
Maybe he was thinking about it because that was the worst round that he played of the entire day.
It probably was. He was upset thinking about Tony Petitti as well. Your second team, Buckeyes on Phil Steele's preseason conference awards list, or just all conference list. Wide receiver Carnell Tate, second teamer. Offensive lineman Tegra Shabola, and then D lineman, who we were talking a little bit about, Austin, in the last segment, who I think has a really big opportunity this year to step up into spotlight, given what we saw last year out of the interior defensive tackles, Edric Houston.
Yeah. He does fit in that category of Phil Steele making a little bit of bet on potential that hasn't fully been realized on the field yet. Now, the recruiting rankings, the recruiting profile, I think the opportunity, the way Larry Johnson has developed those 3 techniques all lends itself to making a smart bet on him. And then you look at the physical build of this guy, it's just bonkers. I don't know how it's possible to do the things that he can do. And but he only had 7-8 tackles last year. When he was on the field, you knew it. And I think there's going to be really, really, really impressive stuff from him. And Ohio State needs it. We've talked about him and Caden McDonald both, having the weight of that position on their shoulders and not knowing what the depth's going to look like with Jason Moore. And can he step up? Will Smith Jr., can he do it? Tywan Malone, is this the year that he taps into that potential?
Would like to see it.
That'd be great. But at the top, that the majority of those reps are going to go to those 2 guys. And I think they can handle it. I think that they've got the mentality for it. They've certainly got the physicality for it. And I was thinking about it actually earlier, Beamer. I was talking with the King, Adam King, for tomorrow's episode of The Beat. It's like everyone points to Larry Johnson's track record, and it's Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Chase Young. It's edge
Easy guys to do that with, though.
Yeah. Where he has been the most impressive is, I think, taking some of these guys on the interior and turning them into game-wrecking defensive tackles or 3 techniques. What happened with Draymond Jones? What happened, the last year when Jay Sean Cornell kicked inside? Ty that I just mentioned. Haskell Garrett and Tommy Togiai, the years that they, put together around.
Adolphus, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. 2019, 2020. Not even mentioning, the way that your guy Mike Bennett played in 2014 on the way to the national championship. Like, I think that's where he's made the bigger impact. Larry Johnson, he is the legend. He is the all-time best position coach, defensive line coach in college football. If there's a better one, point him my way.
It's not that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not aware of a resume that trumps it there. So, but I think he gets pointed to as developing these pass rushers and great defensive ends. But really, I think the spot that he's developed the best has been defensive tackle. So if he's saying you come out of spring camp and you don't need anyone from the transfer portal, he must like what he's got from those three guys I mentioned, plus Jarquez Carter. So, the point is still the same, that those 6 guys, and then with Caden and Edric at the top, they're going to have to step up and deliver.
We'll get to the third teamers coming up as well. But which running backs are we most expecting to step up this season? We'll get to that in Austin's question of the day here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
What is dippable and dunkable? And now at Donato's, it's Donato's new chicken dippers. Flavorful boneless chicken breast tenders served up with 7 amazing dipping sauce options, including new garlic parmesan and sweet chili. For a limited time, try new chicken dippers for just $5 on the $5 Pizza Pals menu. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked into the Buckeye Show.
Got our guy Austin Ward hanging out with us this beautiful Monday evening. Austin, why don't you fire a number at me?
That would be 6.
Caller number 6. You get in right now. 614-821-9710. You talk to our guy Nate Dogg over there, and you're going to get a family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game Saturday, July 19th at Huntington Park. It's Team Cardale versus Team Braxton. And if you aren't the winner, don't worry. Tickets can be purchased for $10 at BuckeyeCruise.com. 614-821-9710. Caller 6 walking away with a 4-pack of tickets to that. Always a fun event, because you know this, and covering some of these guys, either currently or formerly, whenever you have an athletic event, it tends to get very competitive very quickly, no matter what's at stake, no matter what the game, no matter what the sport. It's like you throw a match onto a kerosene pile, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, where did this competitiveness come from?
They always pretend like, oh, no, this is for fun, this is for charity, and then the second it starts,
well,
it's
it is.
But then the fun gets thrown out the window. Yeah. It's fun to watch, because then you have these ultra competitive alpha male dudes, which to play at Ohio State and end your career at Ohio State is a different level of competitiveness and mentality and self-confidence and belief and swagger and ego. So they don't want to lose at anything. These soft, like the home run derby.
I was swinging for the fences.
I mean,
I saw Jake Ballard's hands one time after that, because he didn't have any batting gloves. It looked like Andy Bernard the night before he played golf in the office. Hit a few thousand golf balls, got a few blisties. Like I'm like, Jake, you could have just stopped swinging when you felt the blisters. He's like, no, it wasn't even a thought in my mind.
No. And then you got Zach Bourne out there just trying to hit it out of Huntington Park with every swing, just going full bore. My guy, I'll bet on him. I think Lincoln Kienholz is participating in it again next Saturday. If he had chosen to follow that baseball path, kind of like Omeka a year ago, he could be a pro doing that right now. So that's going to be pretty fun. But you see some of these guys that they can't cool the competitiveness, and then they blow out a hammy, and they got these huge bruises on their leg. Remember seeing some of those going back to the first edition of this softball classic, and it's like, well, they just can't turn it off, man. And that's part of the fun to watch. I'm going to go out there. I think we're going to do a version of The Notebook. During that celebrity
the movie?
game. No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
What you guys do every day.
I do.
Yeah.
The Notebook. It does have. It has a similar name. You're right.
No, it doesn't. I can't believe I never. Name. It's the same name.
I can't believe I never thought about that. It helps us in search. People are looking for who's that? Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling, and they're like, no, they got Austin Ward instead. It's like, tough break for you, but do you want to hear what happened in Ohio State Rutgers? Because I got you.
I got you for sure. Let's go over these remaining preseason all Big Ten contenders for Phil Steele out of his publication. Running back James Peoples. Put a pin in him. We're going to get to him in your question of the day. Offensive lineman Ethan Onyanwa. Linebacker Arvell Reese, which we have already told you before if you've listened to us over the course of the last month and change, that Arvell is going to have a fantastic season. Him and Sonny paired together is going to be great. And then cornerback Davison Igbinosun, IGB. IGB could have a fantastic season if he's not the most penalized football player in America.
It's a little bit of an if, though, isn't it?
Yes.
And I always go back and forth on this. I don't think that we can take this mindset that's like, hey, can't you just accept it because he makes so many highlight plays? Even when he got that ridiculous and critically important red zone interception at Penn State. It came on the heels.
Towards the end of the half.
Came on the heels of a Davison Igbinosun penalty that put Penn State down there. So it's like, yeah, you don't want to live in that world where you're on the edge, the knife's edge, and just gambling. Like, well, this could be either an interception or PBU or a 15-yard PI. Like, you don't want to have that. Like, ideally, you want to get that out. I remember asking him, we were talking to Tim Walton, and Ryan Day was talking about, Jim Knowles was talking about, they're going to put him on these gloves, these mittens, and try and get him to stop holding. And I wanted to see what they looked like after practice.
Like just two clubs?
Well,
just tape around his hands?
He just looked at me and he was like, who told you that? And he just kept on walking. Like I was like, you're putting in the work to get this fixed. I'd like to be able to, help tell that story, that it's like you're not happy about it either.
I want to see it.
But he's so upset about it. He's like, I'm not even going to pretend like it's a real thing.
Not giving you the time of the day in the Notebook.
And that's fine too. You don't have to. I just wanted to know if they were like the gloves that you're running the bases with in baseball, if they were oven mitts, like what they looked like, so that I could more.
What were they? Did
he never know? He just like, no, I'm out of here. Like, so I haven't seen him.
They've
like
got to be looking
gloves,
like the baseball mittens.
That's what I thought. And I wanted to see it because that way you can still play. You may even still be able to, like, if you put them in boxing gloves, which I've covered other teams that's what they would do. Like, you're not doing anything with that. You're not catching an interception.
No, you're not.
With those on. If you've got those base running gloves, maybe you can still snag it and head to the end zone. So I just wanted to take a glimpse at it, and he was having none of it.
He said, no, sir.
But because that is a reminder of what's important to him. And he is one of the most confident humans walking planet Earth. Doesn't want to show any weakness.
Very confident in his abilities.
And I get that 100%. That's what makes him able to turn those mistakes around immediately and erase them on his own. That's what makes him great. But if you cut that down, those 6-7 penalties over the course of a year, or seemingly last year was happening once a week. You just knew you could set your watch to it.
I feel like it was at least one. It was at least once a week.
Well, because they'd get out of whack. There'd be games where there'd be 3. I think he had a couple games with 3 penalties. If you remove that,
just can't do it
from the arsenal. I mean, look out, because he's going to let you know that he's dominating you, and then he's going to get that confidence going. And by the way, the ball's probably still going to keep coming to his side because nobody wants to throw on Jermaine Matthews or Aaron Scott either. So the opportunities should be there, and I think that could boost him well beyond where people have him penciled in right now.
Let's get to your question of the day. Austin circled around the running backs. I was reading it a little bit earlier on Letterman Row, and just who is going to step up. And I think there's a great candidate in here in James Peoples, who actually is on Phil Steele's third team all-conference heading into the season.
Yeah, I got asked there at Letterman Row, sort of what I thought the outlook was going to be. And right now, this is one of those positions where you can't say it's no problem. The next wave is here. They're going to be really good. Replacing Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, not just from an ability standpoint, it is how much experience they had. Going into last year, the only question you could possibly have is there a world where there's enough touches to keep both of these guys happy? Is this going to work?
And there was.
Carlos Loughlin managed it to close to perfection. There were certainly times where Quinshon wanted to be on the field or Travion wanted to be on the field, and they would let him know that they did not like being removed from games. But they got through the end of the year, and they were both full speed and fully operational in the playoff run. And
they're both very high second-round draft picks.
So it's not just that you're replacing that talent. It is the veteran experience and their second-rounders on top of that. It's talent and veteran experience to boot. And they set the tone in that room. So James Peoples has seen that. Now, C.J. Donaldson, comes over having started and played at a high level for West Virginia, but nowhere near the level of carries, nowhere near the level of competition at West Virginia that Quinshon faced at Ole Miss and the importance that they put on him in the backfield there for the Rebels. So you're betting on potential. And I think by the end of the year, we could look back and say, yep, James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson and maybe a sprinkling of Bo Jackson or more than a sprinkling. We'll see how that looks coming out of spring and through the summer months for him. Maybe it's like they did it. Carlos Loughlin duplicated what he had from 2 high-round NFL draft picks, and the Ohio State running game in the backfield is right where you expect it to be. I'm not saying that's impossible. In fact, I won't be surprised if that happens at all. But the situation going into the opener and trying to beat another college football playoff contender in Texas with a bunch of dudes on that defense, maybe James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson don't blink an eye, and they go rattle off 30 carries for 200 yards between them, and Ohio State wins easily. I mean, that's
screen right before the half as a little homage.
Maybe. I think James Peoples on the screen, count me in for watching that. That sounds pretty exciting with his electrifying ability and speed coming out of that backfield. But they haven't had to do it on a full-time basis for Ohio State in a situation like starting against Texas in the Horseshoe. So you get to tap into the potential. I think that would be, awesome to see. But in week 1, are they going to be at the same level of Quinshon and Travion? I think probably not.
Yeah, it's hard to replicate what those guys did.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of
it's not a knock on Peoples and Donaldson. That's not the way I mean it.
No, I don't take that as a knock when you said it out loud, because those two guys were very good. And I never feel like last year we just spotlighted one. It was always Travion and Quinshon and what they both did in the game. And you had 2 of the most special running backs to come through Ohio State, and Quinshon, we only got to see him for a year.
Yeah.
We saw multiple years of Travion Henderson, and I'm not saying that it's going to be easy to replicate that, but I think that's going to be their strategy moving forward in the dual running back system.
Yeah, or more. Because, James Peoples didn't get a ton of opportunities last year, but he got enough that you could get excited about what the potential and the upside was going to look like once he got out there. We went into spring, and I remember having this conversation with somebody who would be involved in Ohio State running backs. And Berman and I had done a position preview, and we're just talking about James Peoples. Well, he's going to be the starter. He's going to be the bell cow. He had a really good training camp last year. You got him on the field. He got some experience. Now the sky's the limit. And the feedback we got was, hey, you guys aren't talking about C.J. Donaldson enough, and you're going to sound like idiots.
Okay,
great. And then I watched C.J. Donaldson. First day of practice, second day of practice.
Body transformation, too.
It's like, this is not the guy that I watched on film. I watched the West Virginia highlights. I'm thinking he's coming in like, bigger version of Carlos Hyde and being around 250 pounds. Like you mentioned Thunder and Lightning. Well, this would be the short yardage guy. This would be the goal line guy. We lost 25 pounds in 3 months working with Mickey Marotti and that body by Marotti. And being around all the health consultants and the food and the training table. And everything that's different at Ohio State from West Virginia, like complete transformation. And then I was like, this guy, okay. Now I know why I was told that I needed to spend more time talking about C.J. Donaldson. And then throughout camp, you got to the end, and it's like the same person was like, if you guys don't start talking about James Peoples again, you're going to sound like an idiot.
I can't talk about them both unless it's Travion and Quinshawn.
But I was like, and I understood why, because James Peoples, suddenly the competition was different. C.J. Donaldson was doing a really good job setting the tone. And
I got to up my game.
He had to up his game, and it was the iron sharpening iron in real time. You were seeing it pay off for Ohio State already. And so that made sense. But the other part that's important is that it was a reminder that Ohio State, and let's just say Carlos Lachlan, had a high level of confidence that both of those guys could produce at the rate that he needed them to. And he's not done, by the way. It's July 7th. Training camp starts on the 31st. There's still a couple more weeks to go through with, getting to the end of summer conditioning and then a month of training camp. So when I say I don't think, as we sit here right now, expect them to play at the level of Quinshawn and Travion, that seems like a very rational thing to say. It does not mean that Carlos Lachlan can't get them ready by August 30th.
That's a nice problem to have.
Right?
And it's not really a problem.
Not necessarily.
Have fun. I mean, August 30th, I think we're going to find out, and through the season. I do like the dual backfield, though. I think it's a great strategy that they have. Nate Dogg, before we get out of here, who won the 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones softball game?
That was Josh in Dublin.
Josh from Dublin. Big congratulations to you. You're going to see that July 19th at Huntington Ballpark. Again, if you're not the winner, don't worry. Tickets can be purchased for $10 at BuckeyeCruise.com. The Buckeyes were down to the wire in a recruitment. Then one team came along and dropped a mega bag. That's next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $494 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
We've got a story about a little bean doing big things. Soybeans are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we use every day. And Ohio's farmers are growing some of the world's best soybeans. By using and eating soy-based products, you make a positive impact locally and globally. Say hey to the largest ag export in the U.S. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access
to cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at the Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news. We fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on the Fan all season long. Yay, baseball. Get Eco.
Aaron, you know that complete HVAC system we sell for $12,000?
Yeah, it's for homes that are 1,600 square feet or less.
How big is 1,600 square feet?
3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. Those homes are what America is made of.
Get Eco.
Other companies are charging $15,000 to $18,000 for that same system.
Yeah, I know.
And if your family doesn't need a new furnace, Eco will replace the AC component for just $8,500. Why are we doing this?
Nurses, police officers, office workers, firefighters, and school teachers live in those houses, Jerry.
The people that America is made of live in the houses that America is made of.
We're just doing what we can to restore balance to the universe, Jerry.
Get Eco.
When a person is doing well, they're making money. But when they're doing good, they're helping others.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
We're bringing balance to the universe.
Go to geteco.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to the Buckeye Show.
We're here on the Buckeye Show, brought to you by our great friends over at Coors Light. When those mountains are blue, as they were on Saturday for me, oh boy, those bad boys are as ice cold as the Rockies.
You won't have one right now, will you?
I'm not allowed.
Oh, that's right.
Not allowed.
We got to focus on the show.
Yeah, we got to make sure that happens.
But you can have a couple to celebrate your anniversary when you get home.
Yeah, absolutely I can. And I plan on doing so. So on Friday, 4th of July, America's birthday, having a great time at a cookout with my dad. He did a great job. He was smoking some chicken. I brought some strip steaks or ribeyes or something, and we just had a great time.
Meat.
Yeah, it was just a carnival of meat on Friday. And I was, for whatever reason, just scrolling on X, as I do from time to time, and I saw this pop up and knew this was an Ohio State target. 5-star offensive tackle Felix Oho, who we've talked about in the past. Murph has talked about him. Berm was talking about him, I think, last week, that he had a big commitment on Friday. Now, just correct me if I'm wrong. And again, I thought it was down to Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, and Texas.
And really, the perception was that it was Ohio State or Texas, and that was it.
Okay, because I know Texas Tech was on the list, but I was pretty stunned when I saw this on social media that upon signing a historic 7-figure revenue share contract with the Red Raiders, his agent, Derek Shelby of Prestige Management, Prestige Worldwide, wide, 6'7", 285-pound prospect from Mansfield, Texas, the number 4 offensive tackle and second-ranked recruit of the class in the state of Texas for 2026, chose Texas Tech over Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, and Texas. According to Shelby, his agent, Oho is set to join Texas Tech on a fully guaranteed 3-year, $5.1 million contract. Woo! That's a nice little bit of change there.
I'm going to be honest with you, Beam. That's insane.
That's crazy.
And I think my understanding is that a little over $2 million of that is coming from the house settlement. We'll see if the rest of it fully guaranteed. We'll see. But if the NIL Go says, yep, thumbs up or thumbs down to that, even still, you know, I've said this many times. This is not about this particular recruitment. It could really be about any 5-star offensive lineman.
Yeah. Jackson Cantwell was another one.
Jackson Cantwell went down to the wire with that. Yeah. And look, all these things can still change. We'll see if the money is real, whether that is by signing day or after a freshman year, you know, down the road.
It hasn't been real multiple times in the past.
And that's what a lot of the transfer portal activity was all about. Checks bouncing or the money not being real at all in the first place. So, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen with Texas Tech. They have one of the most well-funded collective efforts of anyone
Thanks,
out
Nate.
there. You know, why they were continuing to have their big money booster being involved with Nick Saban and this College Sports Commission conversation, I don't know, because it seems like Texas Tech is adamant about, like, we're going to spend whatever we want, and if you don't like it, try and stop us, which because they're paying $1 million for their softball pitcher.
And she was awesome.
And they brought her back on another deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're splashing the pot for basketball as well. I don't know how all that works financially. Everyone has the same amount of money. And so if they're fully maxing that out, and Ohio State's not, they're paying their scholarships, and then it's down to that $18 million. Got to go through that math lesson that we got from Ross Bjork again a month ago. But you can't devote, in my opinion, 5% of your salary cap to one offensive lineman who
out of high school,
who's not going to be able to play, not going to be ready to play and really contribute for you as a true freshman?
It's so hard to do, and I don't care how good you are coming out of high school. To do it at the level of which you're playing at Texas Tech or Ohio State or USC, it's nearly impossible. And we talk a lot about quarterbacks being very difficult. Now, we've seen true freshman quarterbacks come in and play. Most recent example, Dylan Raiola. Up and down, had a pretty good year. I would say that was an overwhelming success as a true freshman. It is incredibly difficult to do it, even more so as a high-level offensive tackle.
Yeah, and you don't want to be part of a program that has to pay up for a true freshman offensive lineman either. That would be telling you that Ohio State, we can only talk about Ohio State specifically here in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm saying that I think their model and their blueprint for how much they're paying, who they're paying, how they allocate their resources, and I don't know the exact dollar amount for everyone on the roster, but I know that there is a line in the sand for what you're going to pay for an offensive lineman out of a recruiting class. And they should, because you can also just fast forward and allocate that same amount of money for someone like Ethan Onyanwa and keep them out of the NFL, or Josh Simmons or whatever. Anyone, Phillip Daniels, they took two guys out who have some experience at the Big Ten level or were considered second round, maybe NFL draft picks, and you pay them to go out of the portal and join your roster, and they're ready to plug in. I'm not saying that that's the only way that you can or should do it, because relying on the transfer portal every year is a risky proposition. Especially if you have to get two every year, that'd be problematic. That also would mean that you're missing on all of your developmental pieces that you're bringing in
your recruitments. Yeah.
But when you mix that with an expanded net, maybe in the Midwest, someone like Austin Sareveld, I think, is the perfect example. Did anyone think that he would be starting and playing at the level that he was on the playoff push a year ago in year two? No. But they identified a guy who gets it, the work ethic, both the player and the program, maximize that potential ahead of time. And now we're talking about him surpassing one of the guys that they took out of the transfer portal. That's a good thing. That's not a problem. It's not a knock on Phillip Daniels. If Austin Sareveld has that job at right tackle, that's an example of things going the right way. You would have a transfer portal guy that you paid up a little bit to get.
Known commodity, though.
Known commodity. You bring him from Rice. And on the other side, you have a homegrown developmental talent that you did not break the bank for coming out of his high school recruitment. That's the same situation for Carson Hinsman. More or less the same situation for Luke Montgomery. He had a bit more of a national profile. So that may have been a little bit more expensive than what you paid for an Austin Sareveld or Josh Padilla or whoever else that you're looking at for the depth down there.
Your guy.
But anyway, I think that that's the right approach. I don't think that paying $5 million over 3 years, when one of those years you're not going to get anything out of them, and you might not get anything out of year two. And I'm not saying that to pick on Jackson Cantwell or Felix Ojo or anybody else.
David Sanders, another example.
David
of this
Sanders,
at Tennessee, that was a big one.
All of those are in that same boat. I just don't. Ohio State is willing to up the amount of money from what it has in previous years. I don't think that they're inflexible with what their approach is, but I also don't think that they should be paying seven figures for someone to sit on the bench. That doesn't make any sense.
We had a freaky injury to a title contender over the weekend. We'll get into that in the College Football Pulse next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.44%, APR 6.47% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
As America's largest custom home builder, Schumacher Homes believes a top-quality home should be affordable for everyone in the Buckeye State. We work with the leading architects to bring you the latest in design, and then you have the ability to make changes. Not just selecting finishes, but moving walls, adding rooms, literally customizing anything from the ground up. It's a misconception that custom homes have to be expensive. We work within your budget to build an amazing home on your land. Visit SchumacherHomes.com or any of our 9 Ohio locations.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Puterball. In the NBA, the Indiana Pacers have confirmed star point guard Tyrese Halliburton will miss the entire 2025-2026 season due to his torn Achilles tendon. In Cincinnati, the Reds try to stop their 2-game skid tonight against the Miami Marlins. First pitch is at 7:10 with the Reds' Brady Singer squaring off against Jansen Junk. Catch the action immediately following the Buckeye Show here on The Fan. The Guardians are in Houston tonight, hoping to snap their 10-game losing streak against the Astros. Tanner Bibby takes the mound for Cleveland, squaring off against Colton Gordon of the Astros. At Wimbledon, world number 1 Jannik Sinner avoided a major upset as 19th seed Grigor Dimitrov was forced to retire due to injury despite a 2-set lead. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hour number 2 for us here. This beautiful Monday. And by beautiful, I mean a little rainy, a little intense thunderstorms. By the way, too, coming up, top of the 8 o'clock hour, we will get you down to Cincinnati, where the Reds are playing this evening. We're in a little bit of a weather delay down there. For the
You don't say.
So I'll let you know when that game is going to go first pitch. Was just looking at the radar down in Cincinnati, and I think the lightning and stuff's going to move out of the area. It just looks like rain down there in the middle of the 7 o'clock hour. So I'll let you know when that game was supposed to get started. It was supposed to start at 7:10. First pitch has been delayed.
I drove down to the studio to record something with the King for tomorrow. And by the time we were done and I went back out to the car, I was like, I'm in the middle of a monsoon.
Oh, it was crazy today.
And I told Allie, I was like, this is crazy.
Like 3:45, 4 o'clock, just
puddles everywhere. I'm hydroplaning, getting back home. And she's like, really? It's It's not even raining up here yet. Just wait then.
Yeah, it's about to.
It's coming for you.
It's about to. Yeah, it was pretty wild. William was just looking out the door, just straight up like, it's raining. Like, yes, it is, man.
Cats and dogs.
It is coming down. Nate Dogg, happy Monday, buddy. What do you got for us tonight?
How's it going? Bad news out of Notre Dame. Offensive lineman Charles Chigusa suffered a broken humerus bone in his left arm in an ATV accident this weekend. He was expected to start the series 2 off seasons in a row. He has suffered a major injury. He could be back for the regular season. Minimum time is usually 6 weeks. It's usually a 6 to 12 week injury, so he could be back in time for the season. But Notre Dame has lost a lot of guys on that line going into this season.
Yeah, Ohio State lost a lot of guys too. I mean, you go back all the way to the beginning of last season. Hand, foot, and mouth disease just went through that offensive line room.
Yeah,
it was back like it was COVID times, where everybody was actually set up on the indoor in their makeshift offensive line room. That was pretty wild. And then it ultimately helped Ohio State in the end to win a national championship. But it felt like Ohio State towards the end of the season, Notre Dame got ravaged, I feel like, all season long on the offensive line. And this isn't a great indicator that it's going to be any bit. And I know it was a freak injury. It was an ACV
His first start was the semifinal last year.
Yeah. And that's a tough task, being thrown in. We saw Ohio State players do it. We saw Notre Dame players do it. Yeah, I mean, again, this is why it's tough with development with the offensive line. And then you have a freak injury, and now you're shut down for 12 weeks, which butts you all the way up to the middle of the college football season. So hopefully it's speedy recoveries for him. But yeah, saw that over the weekend and was just kind of blown away. Like, they've had some really bad luck on the offensive line.
Yeah, Notre Dame has also dealt with a lot of departures through the transfer portal. There was a period right after the national championship, you had that window. It's like, what's going on with the Notre Dame offensive line? It's like every single person is jumping ship there. So they've got their work cut out. Marcus Freeman does reloading and revamping that group. It's been one year in and year out. The Notre Dame offensive line has been one of the most stable and successful units in the country. You see them always up for the Joe Moore Award. They've been very good.
Really good.
But they're gonna have to reload that in a hurry without someone they're counting on being a starter. They're also trying to protect a first-time starting quarterback. So
yeah, they do have the ability to hand the ball off to Jeremiah Love.
Well, and it's also a good thing that their schedule is a joke.
I haven't looked at it in depth. Is it not great?
It's a Notre Dame schedule. It's exactly what you'd expect.
Come on, they usually always tout themselves as one of the toughest schedules in college football.
Yeah, and then it comes out, and then you join the
Miami week number 1. Okay. Texas A&M at home week number 3. They have a bye week number 2. And then they get Purdue at Arkansas. They're bringing Boise in. I'm all right with their schedule.
All right, fine.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with where they're at. You do get Stanford to end the season, though, so best of luck to Andrew Luck.
Plus Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, USC's in there.
Cakewalk.
Well, USC
unless Lincoln Riley can find a way to cancel it by this year.
He's been known to do that a time or two, and he's really been trying to cancel that series with Notre Dame as well.
Yeah.
So much so that a booster said, if you cancel that, I'm going to take away all the money I've given you in NIL funds.
Which they're not even real dollars anyway. It's monopoly money that they're handing out to recruits.
What else you got for us, Nate Dogg?
Tomorrow morning, the University of Oklahoma is holding a press conference where athletic director Joe Castiglione is set to retire. He has been their athletic director since 1998, has been athletic director of the year twice, had led OU to 25 national championships in his tenure, of course. Oversaw the movement over to the SEC. What is the legacy of OU's AD?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good one. You think about the time and changes during his tenure around not only college football, but just college athletics. The way that they're doing athletics down there, too, at Oklahoma is a little bit unique because they came out and said kind of the same thing that Ross did. Like, they went out and said the amount of dollars that they're investing into their program. Football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, softball, and women's gymnastics is how they're going to doctor up their allocated $20.5 million. Just think about the changes that he's seen while being in charge of a fantastic university and programs like Oklahoma, right? I mean, Ohio State has had 3 athletic directors in that time period. This man oversaw all the changes and probably saw some more coming down the line, said, 67 years old, might be a good time for me to retire.
Yeah, I think if you'd asked me this question 5 years ago, my answer about his legacy would be very different. Because look, I grew up going to Oklahoma football games. I was born in Tulsa. Dad had season tickets in Norman. Like, that was my introduction to really powerhouse college football, diehard fan bases, national championship contention there in the 80s with those teams. And, like, that's what indoctrinated me in the love of college football. So I know that that's what people care about the most in Norman. The softball success is great. Competing in baseball is awesome. You get men's basketball, that's a real bonus. But
They've had some good teams over the years in hoops.
They love college football. That is what is most important to them. And I think this move over to the SEC has really tarnished the brand, the success, the legacy of that football program.
Beat Bama last year.
They did. But they are also a walking disaster with a need for a new coach because Brent Venables is not cut out to do it. So that has really taken some of the shine off of Joe Castiglione bringing in Bob Stoops and overseeing that incredible run, Big 12 dominance, beating Texas and establishing themselves as the premier program in that conference. That
when your program hasn't had a defense in 15 years, going to the SEC is a bad decision.
It didn't work out. And when you are reliant on tapping into Texas recruiting for the success of your program, and suddenly now you're dealing with the rise of, Texas being able to go have the SEC pedigree, Texas A&M doing the same thing.
Texas Tech with their NIL dollars that we were just talking about in the last segment.
And that has become a real thorn in the side of Oklahoma as well.
SMU.
Like all those schools now, like they were all always paying. Let's not pretend like they weren't. Oklahoma was able to deal with that. And Oklahoma, Bud Wilkinson would write about it in his book about how they were paying guys back then and had that slush fund in the office. It's not a secret that that's how that happened. But, making this move and losing some of the geographic ties and losing the conference dominance, making a bad hire. Like you go from Bob Stoops to Lincoln Riley to this, and then questions of how you pull yourself back out of it, this tailspin a little bit in the SEC. I think that has really changed some of this because everything else he's done for the Oklahoma Athletic Department is really pretty impressive and pretty awesome.
On paper, it's a good move.
But this, you're still going to be judged in college athletics by your most prominent program and what's important to you. And at Oklahoma, that's football. And as you're going out the door, you're not what you once were. Period.
And you're also, I don't feel like setting up the university for success down the road.
It's hard to see how they are. So anyway, congrats on a great career, Joe.
Yeah, good job.
See you later.
Get out while it's before it gets rough.
Yeah, exactly. Nate, we'll do one more here, Nate Dogg.
Well, it is, of course, list season. Our friends at the Athletic have listed the top 25 rivalries in college football. Their top 5, USC, Notre Dame. Number 4, Army, Navy. Number 3, the Red River, whatever they feel like calling it this year. Number 2, the Iron Bowl. And, of course, we all know what number 1 is.
Yeah. Were you one to most shocked you've ever been when you saw number 1 being Ohio State, Michigan?
Negative something?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, if you're going to do the rivalry list, that's easily number 1. The Iron Bowl is easily number 2. Red River's fantastic. Army, Navy is a just fantastic tradition that we do every year. It's got its own weekend, Army, Navy. And then USC, Notre Dame, that's going away.
They had OSU versus Penn State at number 8. That kind of surprised me. That was not.
Penn State is unrivaled.
Yes, they are. And we don't even get to play them every year anymore, which I'm very disappointed about. You should play that game every year.
Yeah. Ohio State, Penn State should not be on that rivalry list.
It's
the best in my, what are we in, however long I've been here, 14th season covering it. OSU, Penn State has been the most competitive series. It has had some of the highest stakes when it comes to the Big Ten race and the college football playoff race compared to Ohio State, Michigan. But the animosity, the passion, the vitriol, the fights, they'll never even come remotely close. It's like a different sport when those teams are playing compared to the game. So I don't know
that's why 1 is 1 and 1 is 8.
Well, but 8 is like, that's still too high. I don't think it belongs there.
I don't know like Florida State. I mean,
or anything in Florida, the whole round robin. Florida, Georgia, Florida, Miami, Florida State, like all of those should be above Ohio State, Penn State. If that seems like too much recency bias.
Yeah, but it's been very good.
That's fine. Like, we're just saying at the current moment, because USC Notre Dame is in a top 5 rivalry right now in college football.
No, it's not.
So
all-timer,
on that note, number 6 is Nebraska-Oklahoma. When was the last time that mattered?
Great. A Big 10, Big 12 match, or SEC. Why? I don't even know what league any of them are in.
SEC matchup, yeah.
Great. They don't play each other every year. How can that possibly be number 6?
Where's our
What's
guy?
the protocol?
There is none. The rules don't make any sense, and then the points are made up. Yeah, the points are made up, and everything's useless. Where's our guy, Phil Steele, predicting how the Buckeyes are going to finish inside of the Big Ten this year? We'll get into that coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanity's decayed, and toilet's really old. The bathtub's giving way, if that's our ring. Call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Let's be honest, we could all use a little vacation from the ordinary. But with Tim Hortons' new refreshers, you don't need to pack your bags. Just sip, relax, and enjoy your refreshing 16-ounce vacation. With tropical mango packed with real pineapple and mango pieces. And strawberry watermelon kiwi featuring real pieces of strawberry and kiwi. Also try it with lemonade or coconut milk. A choose-your-own taste bud adventure. Head to Tim's for the new refreshers. Your 16-ounce vacation awaits. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith, Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
Bishop and Friends.
It's red, white, and blue. Looks just like a bomb pop. It'd be perfect for the UA 4th of July party.
That sounds patriotic as hell. I'd suck one right now.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Some pop-up showers and storms, some gusty winds, and a few pockets of heavy rain on this Monday. Temperatures in the low to mid-80s. Overnight, we'll keep it mostly cloudy and muggy down to around 70 by Tuesday morning. And during the day, more sunshine than clouds, light winds, and less humid with just the risk of a shower. High temperatures in the mid-80s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Austin Ward hanging out with us tonight, tomorrow, and on Wednesday.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, 3-pack this week. The Murph Dog, Thursday and Friday.
What a nice week for you.
Yeah, it's a lovely week. It's a good week. And I believe we're doing the show live at Yogi's in Grandview on Thursday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Got to keep Murph under control.
Yeah,
the beers and Buckeyes.
That's going to be the toughest task for us, but that's what this week is looking like. So the 2025 college football season is less than 2 months away from kicking off, and in his magazine, Phil Steele uses 9 different power ranking methods. All right, 9 of them.
9 strong.
Not 10, 9. It includes the plus-minus power ratings, which are the basis of these Big Ten football rankings. These rankings include decimals based on team, which are derived from a combination of last year's result against strength of schedule and then combined with his plus-minus ratings to create the totals. Ohio State predicted to have an output of all those numbers with a 128.19, which is good for best in the conference.
That's exactly what I had him at.
I had him at that, too. I actually had him at 128.22. Phil went a little bit lower than me. My eyes get crossed like when we talk about analytical output. Like SP Plus is one of the best ones that I read every year, and I'm like, I don't get how you do that. But they're very good at
Just
what
give me the output.
So Ohio State, Austin, ranking number 1 this year in the Big Ten. Haven't won the Big Ten since 2020, going back to the COVID year. I know that your goals here at Ohio State is number 1, beat your rival, number 2, win the Big Ten, and then number 3, win every game after that and win a national championship. And it's something that they have not done against your rival since 2019, and you have not won a conference championship since 2020. You did just recently win a national championship, though, but Phil Steele having the Buckeyes as number 1 team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, which is not a surprise. When you recruit at the level that Ohio State does, you have better players waiting to replace the good ones that you, not necessarily better players. You have good players waiting to replace the good players that left. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't say better. Maybe they will be. We'll see.
Time will tell.
Clearly, none of you were listening to Paul Finebaum over the weekend.
I did listen to it.
It's right here.
I found it to be absolutely absurd.
Here's what he said. They'll struggle to make the playoff, and they're probably going to lose to Michigan. Here was Paul Finebaum.
Well, I'm glad to see somebody on the Ohio State lineup maybe do something more than just mouthing words, because Jeremiah sounds serious. Ryan Day has promised after every loss not to lose again, and he continues to lose again. But you said it a minute ago. They are the defending national champions. So even clowns like me on the 4th of July are not going to call for a firing of a coach because he loses one game. But that is a game he has to deal with at some point. But that national championship game will pay a lot of bills, probably. Yes, including another loss to Michigan.
And didn't he say Ryan Day was not a top 5 coach?
I don't know.
I mean, he was building up to that.
Not really watching.
He went self-deprecating with, clowns like me, so that he could kind of take the edge off the fact that he was saying if Ryan Day lost to Michigan again, that he should be fired. Because, you can...
Just got a brand new contract
pay some bills by winning a national championship. Buddy, what are you talking about? And point to me where Ryan Day comes out after every Michigan loss and promises that he's never going to lose again. He's a coach.
It's the first thing that popped into my mind when I heard that. I'm like, I don't know if he's ever
everything that Paul Finebaum said on Friday was outrageous. Mouthing words. Ryan Day, it makes me uncomfortable the way he described last year's loss, saying that just his dad dying was the only other thing that was like losing to Michigan. Like and I know that that's how he feels. He's not saying that for effect. I've watched his daughters cry on the sideline in the horseshoe. I've watched the family react to the losses in the big house. I know how important it is to the Day family and to Ryan Day specifically. So, Jeremiah sounds serious.
He's a very serious young man.
What is more serious than Ryan Day calling a loss life and death? He wants to win that game more than anybody else. But guess what? He also now has some different perspective on it. They lost it again last year, and then what did they do? He proved that he was one of the best coaches in college football, one of only 3 now who have won a national championship trophy. They won every game after that. They beat Tennessee. They're pretty good. I think Paul Finebaum knows something about Tennessee.
Just a little bit.
Here's the quote from Finebaum. I think anyone who thinks Ryan Day is one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the country is foolish.
Yeah, but what metric are you going off of on that? Because if you're going by national championships.
He called him a good CEO.
Okay, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
he is a good CEO, and it took him a lot to actually step back into that role and give up play calling duties. But it worked out pretty good last year. Michigan game, bad. But you look at the playoffs and the way that those plays were called, it was very good. It's very efficient.
I know what Paul Finebaum is doing. I know what anybody in the national media is doing. We got into July. It's much easier to flip the script and then get Ohio State fans agitated, get me worked up about trying to fact check you about pure nonsense. Like, sometimes I say things that are wrong, dealing into a live microphone. Yeah. Sometimes my opinions are wrong.
Most of the times mine are.
Even my
facts and my opinions.
Even when it's a recorded opinion that I give every morning on the beat, it might be wrong. When Paul Finebaum is saying, well, I think Ohio State's going to lose to Texas, that's fine. You can pick whoever you want to win games. A lot of times these situations, there's not any accountability afterwards. They're just, they proved me wrong, or they just ignore it, and I didn't pick anyone to win this game.
We've both had those situations very many times.
That happens a lot. Someone has to win a game and someone has to lose a game. If we all agreed on who's going to win every game and who's going to lose every game, it'd be pretty boring. Embracing debate is a little bit of how sports works. We maybe don't take it to the level of Paul Finebaum or anyone else on these Get Up shows. I don't remember the last time I watched anything that wasn't live sports on ESPN, but that's neither here nor there. This is a good reminder of why I don't do that. But you can't just start this nonsense and say, Ryan Day's mouthing words.
Also, why are you just throwing away a national championship?
That happened.
You're just doing that?
6 months ago. So you're just going to all of a sudden, I don't like Ohio State, and they're going to lose to Michigan? Based on what? Like, at least give me some reason. I know that these shows have, like, countdown clocks and you have to get your takes out as fast as possible, but why do you think Ohio State?
If you're going to say he's not a top 2 or 3 head coach, tell me who's better.
Yeah,
give that list.
The names.
And if you want to say that Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart are better than that, go ahead and do it. But you can't use the national championship example and then not include a guy who just won a national championship 6 months ago.
I just think it's ridiculous. I don't like Ohio State. I don't think they're going to beat Texas.
That's fine. You can say that.
Cool.
He doesn't think they're going to make the playoffs next year.
You know, and
what?
It's one of the 3 most talented rosters in the sport. If that's the hot take you want to fire out so that you can get people talking about your opinions, watching your shows, listening to your radio appearances, great. Like, go for it. I just be more intellectually honest about it. Because there's no reason given. What else does Ryan Day have to do? You can say, yeah, he's lost to Michigan 4 times.
And we talked about that last week in your question of the week.
We've talked about it 100 times. We'll talk about it 1,000,000 times. It's not as if people are pretending that it didn't happen. So Ryan Day mouths these words. Jeremiah is serious. Ryan Day, somebody on the Ohio State roster is actually going to do something about it. What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about?
Here was more Paul Finebaum for you.
Yeah, I don't like Ohio State because I think Ohio State is going to lose in the opener against Texas, and they are going to struggle to make the playoffs, let alone win it all.
Thank you, sir.
Why? You knew that we would latch onto that part.
But
what if he had followed up and said, I don't think that replacing Will Howard is going to be very easy. I don't know if Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz are going to provide the level of quarterback play that Ohio State needs to get there.
I'm scared about their depth on the interior of the defensive line. Do something.
That would be fine if he said that. Or that Jim Knowles has left and gone to Penn State. And I don't know.
Matt Patricia being back in the college game, that's a big deal. You lost Chip Kelly. Brian Hartline now comes in.
Give a reason.
Give something.
I'm not pretending like there aren't. If you wanted to go out on this limb and pretend like Ohio State is not one of the 2 or 3 most talented teams in the country, that's fine. That is your prerogative. You want to go out and make that. There are gambling odds. If you want to say that Ohio State's going to miss the playoff, you can get a pretty good penny because also the gambling sites strongly believe in Ohio State being the national title favorite right now. So if you want to argue with them and you have your reasons, I'm not saying that you can't come up with them. They need a new offensive coordinator. They have a new offensive coordinator. Brian Hartline's calling plays. They have a new defensive coordinator. They lost a ton of NFL draft picks. We talked in the 6 o'clock hour about Quinshon and Travion not being there. You want to talk about their backfield. You want to talk about the quarterbacks. You want to talk about losses at Donovan Jackson and both tackles being gone.
They are massive.
And every defensive lineman, cool. Like there are actual platforms that you could use to justify an argument that Ohio State is going to lose to Texas, lose to Michigan, and miss the playoff. You can't do that. I still think that's crazy, but he didn't do any of that. Just, well, Ryan Day's, he got a national championship, and that's going to pay the bills. That's going to keep him from getting fired in November.
Alternate side of that, what has Sark done to win a national championship?
Let me think. Don't believe he's won it.
The last time I checked.
Think he got close.
Yeah, he's gotten close multiple times.
I mean, it's just, it gets me so
Tony Petitti
so
this week,
heated.
Paul Finebaum this week.
I'll get over this because I used to cover the SEC. I'm used to and I should be over it now because I know what he's doing. I've been around it for 15, 20 years. It's an act. It's a caricature. I don't think any of it's serious. I think he knew that this would be the reaction here. That's what he wants. I gave it to him. It's shame on me.
Shame on you.
I'm mad at myself right now.
Shame on Nate for even bringing it up.
Successfully derailed this segment.
Good job, Nate. You did a nice job as we rounded to camp month.
I think he made it a better segment.
I did too. We're going to start getting some storylines from Austin is what he's most interested in. We're going to do that in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway. Refresh your fuel tank, refresh your U-tank with 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks. And refresh the vibe for any drive. Refresh at Speedway with 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks with Speedy Rewards and try exclusive Mountain Dew Infinite Swirl flavor for a limited time only. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, save on USDA Choice T-Bone Steaks. Just $9.99 a pound in the value pack with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight Bob's Discount Furniture and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Got Austin hanging out with us tonight, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. By the way, go to the YouTube chat real quick. Thanks for everybody for watching tonight, listening. You can always go back and listen wherever you get your podcast from or on the YouTube feed. Craig said, I thought Finebaum said Sark was a terrible coach last week for not playing Arch against Ohio State. Yes, Pat and I talked about that on Thursday when we were doing the show because Arch Manning got knocked out of the game by Lathan Ransom. That's why you did not see more of him. And maybe he was fine to come back in the game. I don't know. But it was one play. He got the first down. Lost the
allegedly
football, very close to being a fumble, depending on the angle in which you watch that happen in Lifetime, and then stumbled back to the sideline, and that was the one play that we saw.
Yeah, it's almost like he wasn't quite ready for that moment yet, but suddenly he is.
Don't be scared of those
going to
lights.
storm into the horseshoe, and he's going to not be intimidated by...
Best QB since Tebow.
Yeah, yes he is. Guaranteed.
I just think there's going to be a moment. Lathan introduced himself to Arch Manning. I think that Arvell Reese might do that.
Hey, sir, nice to meet you.
How are you? Welcome to the Horseshoe. Do you like the weather? Do you like 100,000 folks here? What do you think about this defensive scheme that Matt Patricia cooked up? Are you having a good time? Are you comfortable, my friend?
We're going to get to Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
later on this week. Don't you worry about that. He might be even be included in a big camp storyline you're looking at.
Oh, that might happen. I got a lot of those.
What's your most pressing, quarterback?
Yeah, when you have to replace your starting quarterback at Ohio State, I don't think anything can trump it. That's the most important thing. And I know that the loyal watchers and listeners in the YouTube chat last week were thinking that maybe we were exaggerating, that this is a real quarterback battle and that Julian Sayin is going to emerge, and Jeremiah Smith's comments to The Athletic validate that. It's fine. I mean, I have learned my lesson from covering these quarterback battles for Ryan Day. He tells the truth. You know, I thought that maybe a couple of years ago he wasn't, and that Kyle McCord was ahead and stayed ahead the whole time. That wasn't the case. And I have taken those life lessons, those scars, and adjusted and learned and growed. Life is about growth.
It is about growth.
And that was an opportunity to do so. And from what I saw with my own eyes and what I'm more importantly hearing from Ryan Day, Ohio State can go with either Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz. I think the upside of Julian Sayin's arm, the quick release, the accuracy, makes him still the favorite in my mind to win it. But I don't believe that the race has been run. I don't think that a decision has been made.
Oh, we haven't even started the race yet, my friend.
Yeah, it's
coming.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
Practice 1 through 15 in March and April.
I ran that race.
Yeah.
On Saturday, and
how did it come out the other side?
I was doing fine through 27 holes, and then I had to play the last 9.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And then I lost my starting job.
Yeah.
Actually lost my backup job.
You lost every job. But like you're going to have to go earn this in the first couple of weeks of camp. And I think, it's been now 3 weeks. Burham and I were out at the Woody, saw Julian Sayin. He kind of looks a little bit taller. The way he was, looking guys in the eye, it was a little bit different than a year ago. I think there is reason to be as optimistic and take those Jeremiah Smith quotes and apply them into August and be like, yeah, I'm Julian Sayin's going to be the guy. He's physically ready now. He capped off spring with an impressive performance against that Ohio State defense. Now it was vanilla looks, and he was seeing 2 coverages, and Ryan Day also made that point himself. So you got to pay attention to all the things that he says and apply them evenly and equally. I think if you're still putting money down, you bet on Julian Sayin, but that's not to say that Lincoln Kienholz can't make this a race, because he did in March and April. If you thought that Julian Sayin was going to win the job by April 12th, it wasn't that he wasn't playing well in March and April. It's that Lincoln Kienholz was elevating his own game. And
I also think there was a reason why Lincoln Kienholz didn't get into the transfer portal and has stayed here.
Yeah, because he, if we're being honest about it, not only is there the financial component, but he also sees what is going on in that room. He was behind Julian Sayin last year, but if Lincoln Kienholz didn't believe that he had a real shot to compete with him and either just be the backup or surpass him at some point or get on the field in meaningful moments, he would not have stayed. All those things factor in at once, and that's not to say that Julian Sayin wasn't still really impressive with the accuracy and the quick release and decision-making and processing and all that stuff, but what Lincoln Kienholz offers Ohio State is different. They're not the exact same quarterback. Lincoln Kienholz is a dual threat. I think part of what the conversation was
prototypical dual threat.
He is a dual threat. I mean, like I said with the softball and the home run derby next week, if Lincoln Kienholz had decided to be playing baseball, he could be a pro right now. I don't know if he'd be in the AA or level or stuck in rookie A, single A. I don't know. If he had committed to that, he's got the hand-eye coordination, he's got the strength, he's got the speed. You know, he was doing all that. We saw the dunks and stuff with him in basketball when he's playing in high school. He is an athlete. And I think the part that was maybe somewhat misunderstood 2 years ago when you had that battle was that, like, Kyle McCord is the prototypical pocket passer and Devin Brown is a dual threat athlete. That's not the situation. It wasn't the situation with Devin Brown. Devin Brown was a little bit more mobile than Kyle McCord, but by and large, they were similarly athletic. And the way that they were going to play was going to look the same. And the offense Ohio State was going to use was mostly going to be the same.
So it's just go out and get it. Best guy.
That's right. And that would not be the case. If you use Lincoln Kienholz, the offense would be very different in terms of quarterback run game, moving the pocket, zone read stuff. You're not going to run the same offense with Lincoln Kienholz as you would Julian Sayin.
We saw a lot of that with Will last year.
Right. And I think that's a reason that the competition is ongoing. That's a differentiator. When Ryan Day looks for those elite traits and an extraordinary ability, then for Lincoln Kienholz, it will be his mobility. It will be his feet. It will be his toughness. It will be that actual dual threat ability. If Julian Sayin does win the job, then all the other things that we've already talked about will be the case. But that's going to be those first 2 weeks of training camp, those first two scrimmages, massively important.
It's the biggest piece of the puzzle. It has to be. It's the most important position in sports, at least in this sport, and you have two basic first-timers that are going at it. And it's not to say that, there are no other expectations around the country, but you know the expectations here. If you're listening to the show, you know the expectations. It's not an easy place to be a starting quarterback. It's not an easy place to be an offensive lineman. It's not an easy place to be a head coach. And so whoever wins that job, and I believe this has been echoed once or twice before over in that building, that the standard...
What is it?
The standard is the standard.
Oh, really?
And no matter who walks away as the starting quarterback, who goes out there and earns that job, is going to deviate from the standard and natural order of operations here at The Ohio State University.
Yep. Will it be surprising if Lincoln Kienholz starts against Texas? Yes. We'll be surprised.
Mildly.
But not shocked. Because, look, I've said this on almost every Buckeye show that we've done since we started doing this together. We saw in spring 5 practices. Had 2 spring game, 2 fully open practices, and 2 partially open practices. The general consensus from the people that watched those practices was that Lincoln Kienholz had an edge in the first 4. I was going to say was the better quarterback. That's just for that day. I don't want that to be misconstrued as like suddenly he's become the all-around guy. On those days, those performances were better. On the 5th day, with 50,000 people at the Horseshoe and a television broadcast watching, Julian Sayin was better. There's no way that anyone's going to look at that and think differently. But there were other days where it was like, ooh, okay. Whether that's ball security, some fumbles, turnovers, like it's a process. Sometimes it's easy to forget because Julian Sayin's recruiting profile is so off the charts and everyone knows what he can become that you are automatically going to be that going into year 2. It's not that easy.
Well, I think it's also natural perception to do that with a quarterback and however you take star values and recruiting. Whenever you're that level and that prowess, that's what we think of when we don't get to see you really at all.
And I think that that goes hand in hand with the perception, and something that I hear a lot, Beamer, is if it's that close, then you should still err on the side of Julian Sayin for what he can become, because there's a lot more information out there that suggests his arm talent gives him longer term upside than Lincoln Kienholz. Plus, he is younger. Mm-hmm. So if it's even, then you should bet on Julian Sayin. And I totally understand that. The dynamic that makes this fascinating for August is that you're not just saying, well, I'm going to bet on Julian Sayin because of the arm talent. Like, Lincoln Kienholz is doing something that's completely different. maybe you decide that's what you need if you're Ryan Day, that you need that mobility. I don't think that's going to be the case personally, but that's the conversation. Because if it's based on arm talent alone, then you take Julian Sayin. No one is going to really even argue that point. But if it's a different package, if it comes down to more
like, hey, our guys are just better running what Will Howard was running last year.
Yeah, and maybe the difference maker with the feet and helping the run game. If you're not sure, we talked in the first hour about C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples. If they're not quite ready, and you might need a different element of danger from your quarterback, maybe that'll happen. I still don't think so, but Lincoln Kienholz deserves a lot of credit for making this an actual conversation. It is not one that I want to have. It'd be a lot easier for me if this was as clear-cut as Will Howard is here, and he's the starting quarterback, and it's over. Or Justin Fields is competing against Matthew Baldwin and Chris Chugginoff. Like, okay, we know who's winning. Like, this is not the situation. Like, they're replacing an NFL quarterback in Will Howard and a national championship quarterback with two guys who have, one, got 3/4 of experience in a Cotton Bowl that he wasn't ready for, and Julian Sayin, who's only played off the bench in mop-up duty. So it's a lot of unknown, which is why August is critical for these they have to give a bunch of different looks and get as much seasoning on these guys as possible. Ryan Day made them go live in spring camp. I've never seen that happen before at Ohio State.
No, it had been a long time since we have taken the pennies off of the jersey and said, all right, have fun today.
Because they have to learn what these guys can do. And if Ryan Day knew then Julian Sayin's definitely the guy, well, guess what? You wouldn't have had anyone get hit.
No, certainly not him.
Not him. Leave him alone.
Lincoln, we need to see you with a little more live reps. We're gonna rip your penny off today. Yeah. Both of them were live,
but also that was a situation that worked in Lincoln Kienholz's favor. If he is live and is able to shed off a potential sack, then go extend those were the things that he was doing that really stood out, that really impressed. And that's not to say that Julian Sayin can't do that, but they're physically different, both in terms of what the athletic profile is and the way that they are actually built.
Our fan poll is very Buckeye-centric today. We're going to get into that and hashtag Buckeyes next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See? We didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
What is dippable and dunkable? And now at Donato's, it's Donato's new chicken dippers. Flavorful boneless chicken breast tenders served up with 7 amazing dipping sauce options, including new garlic parmesan and sweet chili. For a limited time, try new chicken dippers for just $5 on the $5 Pizza Pals menu. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club. the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system. Building strong, lasting relationships, we're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And for a limited time, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.44% APR 6.47% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restricted supply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at The Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Naydog has informed me the first pitch of tonight's Reds-Marlin games will be at 8:15. I did see that on their social media channels as well, so about 25 minutes until that game starts, but that's what we'll get you to. Top of the hour. Austin hanging out with me here this evening. How's your body feeling?
I'm mostly recovered from Saturday.
Good.
Mostly. What a day, man. Shout out to Justin and Nick, AJ driving around that cart, keeping us all really well hydrated. The Ridge Golf and Gardens, man, is fantastic. Awesome people out there. And I've seen those greens faster. I'm glad that they weren't, because people were struggling to get home just as it was.
Yeah, we had a birdie putt on number 8, which is a par 5. And actually, it wasn't even a birdie putt. It was an eagle putt. It was an 8-foot eagle putt that was like down the hill. I looked at my playing partner, and this is on the first 9 of the day. Again, we played 36 holes. I'm like, let me just cozy it on up there. 14 feet by it. And then Sean, my playing partner, left his 5 feet short. And I looked at him like, which one do you want to use here? Because we obviously couldn't handle the downhiller. And then we missed the birdie putt and made a par. I looked at him and I'm like, well, we were on at 490 yards and 2 shots. And it took us 3 more to get home at 8 feet.
I felt like you were bursting with confidence coming into marathon number 6.
I was feeling good.
And I'm thinking, all right, well, you're right there. You were 3 or 4 under par, like going to the championship 9.
Yeah.
After 27, that's fine. You just burned the edges on a couple.
Middle of the pack, we had our opportunities.
Hanging around. And then you put together you and Patty Rupp, normally Mr. Reliable.
Yeah.
You can count on him. Patty wedges. And you guys came in, and it looked like you two were dead.
Yeah. I was smoked, man.
Zombies.
I was smoked.
Yeah, so how's it going on the back? 39.
Yeah, it was bad.
What?
6 pars, 3 bogeys.
Just bombing out of contention. The only 2 players that finished over par. You two went from having a rivalry, it's like, hey, we're going to go play for $1,000 a hole, to you were teammates and fired one of the ugliest rounds in
all time. Let me tell you,
in the history of the marathon.
Chemistry was at an all-time low too.
Well, that's where the trash talk backfired, because you two always just go at it on the patio, and then you had to team up forces to stay alive, to shoot under par for Patty, because he was somehow even through 27. I don't understand how that happened. Meanwhile, I'm watching his brother shoot 40.
It was a disaster.
I had to give him an 8-foot
I feel like
putt.
everybody by the end, like on that final 9, that's why they do call it the championship 9, was just gassed.
I was playing with the champion.
Anthony Richardson. Like, I'm hitting my helmet, like, take me out of the game, coach.
Get us out of here.
Yeah, man.
I'm playing with the champion, and I'm thinking, well, this will help me climb up the leaderboard, because I'm sitting there in the middle of the pack like you. I wind up tied for 9th because I get with the guy. I don't know if it was me, just bad juju. Maybe it was the fatigue. I don't know. He wins the overall, but on 14, par 3, dead shank.
And he is
straight into the water. He's
plus handicap.
It's a plus
golfer.
handicap. I just collapsed in laughter. I'm like, this is what you're doing. You're going to win. But I mean, it was getting tight then, and people were asking me, what's it going to take for you to take a dive on the back 9? I'm basically carrying him to the finish line. If I don't hit, I miss the green. I'm just over the bunker on 14. He shanks it dead into the water. We get to 17.
Pretty hard to do if you've ever played out at the Ridge.
I've never seen anyone do it. And this guy won Dottie Pepper for the 4th time after this stone cold shank. All right, fine. Okay. We're still a couple under par here. And he's trying to do the math. We get to 15 tee, and he's like, I wish we had live scoring, because he's now getting worried. Because he knows
Dogging's being taken and ripped away from him.
Maybe the game's falling apart here. 17, the devil's on us. You know you're not getting help from me there. You shouldn't be expecting help.
That's your nemesis. I've seen it before many times.
I put it in the water on 17. He hits it out of bounds left. Got these 2 par 3s. He's trying to go claim this trophy again. Shank in the water, out of bounds left. 2 completely different misses. And now everyone's like, well, maybe Austin is going to help somebody else win here. Nope, I almost hole out from the drop zone. I save him there. That he ends up winning this on a Shape City tiebreaker situation. Nearly loses on 18.
Nearly lost outright on 18 by a missed 6-foot putt.
So, I tell you, but he won again. Nothing you can do but take your hat off to the man who survived those 2 shots on the championship 9 and still shot 15 under on Saturday.
It was getting sketchy. It was getting really sketchy.
Pretty dicey.
I mean, it was as dicey as you could imagine it being.
But you, Beam, you backed up my big talk.
Yeah.
I said there was going to be a new Jello King.
I'm now the Jello King.
You took down Paul.
Yeah.
He kept claiming there was no way.
He was a 5-time defending champion of that, too.
He's never lost.
Not anymore.
He wins at Pinehurst, too. He wins in the van ride down.
He never doesn't even get to the golf course.
Never loses until now. And I think that you rattled him so bad that he just went home and started playing more golf.
Yeah, which
got a picture 2 hours later of a broken driver.
Why are you hitting your own simulator you got in your house after you've had 150 swings today?
After you just shot 40 on the championship 9 at the Ridge Golf and Gardens. It was a great day.
It's one of the best days of the calendar. Might be the best day on the calendar.
One of my favorites for sure. I'm glad you played. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you kept up your good spirits despite that limp to the finish line.
You can never break my spirit. You can never break the spirit. The spirit's always going to be there.
Not afraid to be happy.
No, I was very happy, and it was a fantastic time. So thanks, everybody out the Ridge. It was great. I'm still recovering today. Like, I was just dehydrated, I feel like, for the entire weekend. That's all.
I've been dehydrated for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Like, I just need to drink 9,000 gallons of water.
Yeah.
And some electrolyte packets.
Or a couple beers tonight for your anniversary.
That's true. It is a big anniversary tonight, and the wife and boy got home a little bit like 5.5 hours or so ago, so it'll be good. Hopefully, I don't know. He's been going to bed at like 8:45 because it's so light out in Michigan. I'm like, not anymore. Like, we got to get you back in your routine, big dog. You got to go to bed at 7:30. Not staying up to watch fireworks like he did in the 4th at 10:45. Hey, it's too late.
He's a champion.
He is a champion, and he'll test me.
And as long as he's properly hydrated, that's all that matters.
And he is properly hydrated because he drinks so much water, and I just refuse to do it. Austin, had a great time tonight. Let's do it again tomorrow, okay?
Sounds great.
Reds up next. Their game starts at 8:15. We're back tomorrow. Everybody have an awesome night. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Summer is hot, sticky, and buggy. But Modelo is cold, crisp, and smooth. When you're sweating through your shirt and the beach is mad crowded, the lime and salt flavors of a Modelo Chelada hit just right. When the weather's perfect but you're still at work, it's time to clock out and stock up on Modelo. Drink responsibly. Beer and flavored beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. All clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership is better than ever. Save up to $1,100 each year on gas, groceries, delivery fees, and streaming options. With double fuel points, unlimited free delivery, and exclusive savings for members, there's so much to love about Boost. Sign up for a Boost membership today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025.